Now that we're in the last month of 2024 and the final set has been out and there is no more for the rest of the year, I thought it would be a good opportunity to go through every single set, give a quick rundown of my thoughts and feelings on it, talk about some of the cards and good moments from each set, and give an overall rating when it comes to that set individually. Now when it comes to this is my own thoughts and opinions. I know people are going to have their own thoughts and opinions. So if you do decide to go to the comment section and go, no, I think it should be this for this, that or this reason, that is completely fair. Just be nice about it. But before I go any further, a word from our sponsor, which is me at my small little Etsy shop. In my small little Etsy shop, I make t-shirts and hoodies with cool designs in multiple colours that are very soft and very comfortable. If you like me and what I do and want to help out the channel and support, first go like and subscribe, and then second go buy yourself something nice. So just a quick rundown of what came out of the year. This year there was many sets such as
Ravnica Remastered, Murders at Karlov Manor, Fallout, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Modern Horizons 3, Assassin's Creed, Bloomburrow, Duskmourn, House of Horror, Foundations.
I'll be going over them individually, showing off some of the best cards, showing off what they released and talking about the set, maybe the story and stuff like that, giving my thoughts and opinions, and then at the very end of each section, giving an overall rating, and then at the end I will show off all the ratings. So if you only care about that, please, I would like if you watch the video, but if you don't, you don't. All the ratings will be at the end, and I would love if you went in the comment section and done your own version of it. So let's start off with
Ravnica Remastered.
Every year starts off with a remaster set for the last few years. Next year is, I believe, Innistrad. This was Ravnica. Ravnica is a really good place, a really good plane, and I was really excited for this, and there was a lot of really good cards. In this set, there was many different variations of arts. I really did like the theme and what they were going for. The only problem with the remaster set is I was there years ago when all these sets came out, so majority of the cards, especially the commons and uncommons, I had, and there was a good fair few art cards that I already had, but I wanted the new alternative arts, and there's no real story. It's usually the set each year that people forget about. If I'm talking about the sets that came out with my friends or other people or people in the comment section, a lot of the time people forget that there was a remastered set at the start of the year. There'll be times where I'll be like, oh, there's like 4 sets out so far, and they're like, no, 3, and I'm like, I always go, do you remember the remaster set? And they're like, fair, 4, but it's not really a set. That's how conversations usually go. So one of the things I didn't like about this set is, or a remaster set in general, is if you played the original, a lot of cards you already have, so not many people buy the packs. However, it is a good set for newer players that wanted to see, that have been playing long enough that they've known about the plane but haven't gone and really found the old packs because they're not selling them really in their local LGS or anything like that, and they don't want to buy it online. So this is a good opportunity for mainly them to go, cool, I get to see this plane and the cards it had, with also the ability to potentially get an alternative art of the card or something that they really enjoy. But there is a fair few good reprints, such like
Cyclonic Rift, Liliana, Dreadhorde General, Nicol Bolas, Dragon God, Spark Double, Rakdos, Lord of Riots, Karn the Great Creator, then any of the Shocklands.
And then they showed even more great cards in an alternative art, which I really did enjoy in this set, but you also get cool cards just like
FBLTHP, The Lost, Massacre Girl, Krenko, Mob Boss, Birds of Paradise, Ral Zarek, Chromatic Lantern.
Now my thoughts and opinions on this, I think it is the set that's forgettable. It's usually the set that's not done the best in the entire year. On average, the alt cards are cool, but it's not really worth investing in packs for that one card you already have in an alt art, especially by the single. It's great for new players, but overall I have to give this, I'm gonna say, a 4.6. I think it is perfectly okay and meh, but there's slightly few things that just make it just slightly worse than average. I think if they completely went into next year or the year after going, we're not doing a remastered set that never sell, people will be disappointed, but people will just be like, replace it with something better. Like for instance, Next year in 2025, they actually had to move a set forward, which was, I can't remember, I think it was Korea, I could be wrong, but it would have been cool if they went, you know what, we're not doing a remastered set, we're going to move a Korea to that time. And then people will go, oh, it's just remastered set, I would rather the proper set. Seems cool. But now we're on to the first proper set of the year. The reason I say proper set is this year seemed to be a lot of, in my opinion, cosplay sets that didn't really feel like Magic. It seemed to be, here's a theme, here's a world, let's throw Magic the Gathering characters in instead of here's Magic the Gathering characters, let's make a theme around them. This is the first set of the year. It's called
Murders at Karlov Manor.
If you don't know what I'm on about, I have made a really long TED talk about it, so go watch that video. But in the set, it is a kind of murder mystery Cluedo-esque type thing. The main reason I say Cluedo is they actually did do like a Cluedo version box, which was separate, so I'm happy it's separate, but there's a lot of characters in this that are just like, they're like warriors or knights or very famous killers or assassins, and then they're there with a fedora going, I'm a detective now. Didn't really feel right and sit well with me, but people did really enjoy this set. So like you could probably guess, in this set there was someone killing someone or killing many people, and you had to try and figure it out. There was some cards with little clues on, but at the story, and if you don't want spoilers, jump ahead. I'll give you the time here to jump ahead to, but the murderer, or in this case, murderers, was these. So it wasn't really one murder, it was multiple murders, but they're also like still one person. It's very confusing. This, in my opinion, was an okay story. It could have been done better if it wasn't here is a Cluedo world with Magic Gathering characters. If it was like a murder mystery, I kind of think it was more, they hinted at people too much that when the murder was revealed, you were kind of like, why? And then you had to wait through the explanation. And I think Scooby-Doo does it well, where they're like, you guess out of like 5 people and you are correct, it is one of the 5. You just learn why, instead of going, oh, is it going to be one of these 5 people? No, it's Steve from down the road that no one really knows or cares about. And you just kind of like, you knew no one was going to guess. Like, it's a bit ridiculous. But in this set, they did release a fair few cool amount of cards, in my opinion, but you get cool cards just like
Massacre Girl, Known Killer, The Pride of Hull Clade, 10th District Hero, Kaya, Spirit's Justice, Voja, Jaws of the Conclave, Rakdos, Patron of Chaos, Niv-Mizzet, Guild Pact, Leyline of the Guild Pact.
But I do have to admit, I did kind of like the alt arts in this, and if you haven't seen any of the alt arts, here are some on screen.
Insidious Roots, Not on My Watch, Intrude on the Mind, It Doesn't Add Up, Convenient Target, Analyze the Pollen.
And then with this set, because it was a core set, story set, there was also a commander or commanders. There was 4 decks revealed with a commander and a sub-commander. I have made videos on all of them, but just in case you haven't seen, I will just show the commander and sub-commander in each of those decks. So if you are interested in buying any of them decks and you haven't seen them before, at least you know where to look up. So here they are on screen now.
Kaust, Eyes of the Glade, Duskana, the Rage Mother, Mirko, Obsessive Theorist, Marvo, Deep Operative, Morska, Undersea Sleuth, Sophia, Dog Detective, Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser, Feather, Radiant Arbiter.
When it comes to these, I thought the decks were cool. I do like when they make 4 commander decks per set, and I did think they did a alright job with this. I do like the kind of try of it. I will say they gave it a college try, but it is one of them sets that with the rest of the year, it was kind of not forgotten, but not many people like. If I ask a fair few people, or I've seen online, what are their favourite decks or what are their favourite set for the year, it is usually on the lower end because of many different reasons, mainly because the rest of the sets are potentially better in their eyes. But I do think a Cluedo-esque thing would have been done better if they focused again on it being Magic in Cluedo, not Cluedo in Magic. So overall, I give this a 7.2 overall. It was quite a good story. The art cards were really good. There was a fair few selection of cards. There wasn't really anything bad about it. Everything was good, but not at kind of the level Magic usually is, in my opinion. Or they could have done stuff slightly better. But I know with all the different like branches and stuff, it's hard to make a big thing perfect. But now we're on to the Universes Beyond set, which was a kind of set, but also mainly decks. It was mainly a deck-focused thing. You could have got all the cards in the decks. However, you can get the alternative in the packs of like the different arts, but this set is
Fallout.
So in saying this, I'm not a big fan of Universes Beyond. I've made a video on it. But I also don't mind talking about it, and when it comes to a franchise I love in Universes Beyond, I'm also one of them suckers that go, I don't wanna, and I didn't. I still want the decks, but I'm not willing to, like, if I am going to pay for Magic cards, I'm going to pay for all more prioritized things. But I really do want them decks. But if you've never seen any of the decks, you get decks just like
Dogmeat, Ever Loyal. Preston Garvey, Minuteman. The Wise Mothman. The Master, Transcendent. Mr. House, President and CEO. Caesar, Legion's Emperor. Dr. Madison Lee. Liberty Prime, Recharged.
Seeing these cards was a great nostalgia hit for me. It's one of my favourite memes lately, the guy going and that's what I felt whenever I seen the card. I would like point at the card and going, I know that, I was there, I've been there, or I know that creature, I know that, oh, I love it. And that is, and I see why they're doing it, and it is a successful business idea. And Fallout, I absolutely love. I played 3 New Vegas and fought a ridiculous amount. I played the rest, but them 3, I have way too many hundreds of hours in those 3 games. But they also did packs with Pip-Boy art, so if you haven't seen them, here's some on screen.
Securitron Squadron. Grave Titan. Gem Razor.
These I were not really a big fan of. I would have actually kind of preferred if they just took screenshots of the game. I found them to either be too realistic or too like, there was just something about it was too gritty. I don't know how to explain it other than it was too gritty. The Pip-Boy was like, meh. The character designs and the way they're positioned just seemed to be really out of place. I wasn't the biggest fan of the alt arts, but then they did an additional alt art with the Vault Boy kind of art. If you haven't seen them, here's some of them on screen.
War Room. Nuka-Cola Vending Machine. Crucible of Worlds.
These are really cool. I do like the art. I actually tried to collect a fair few of them myself. I would have just actually been perfectly happy if they went, here are the 4 decks, but here is the Vault Boy art. The Vault Boy art was really good. The secret layers that came out, I know that's not to do with this video, I'm only focusing on the sets, but the secret arts were also really, really cool. So taking out my bias of it being a Universes Beyond, just solely focusing on this is like a weird mini set where it's decks and stuff like that, I'm going to give it an 8.4. There's no real story, but again, I think it's more the nostalgia of Fallout 4 and Magic, or the nostalgia of Fallout and Magic that I really love. Now, even if they messed this up hugely, it would have still gotten a higher grade. The decks were all cool. I wasn't a big fan of Energy, so again, meh. But yeah, overall, I did think this was a good Universes Beyond that they did. Now on to the second cosplay set of the year, Borderlands. I do find it weird, like, it is, I have also made a video on this, but I'll do a quick thing of, I literally got the video of Borderlands 2, the intro, and the video of the set release of this set, which is
Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
And I played them side by side, and it was pretty much very close. And then they're fighting on a train like they are in Borderlands 2. And then they find the Vault, which has a bunch of magical and powerful creatures, and a creature that now seems to be the main focus called Loot. When it comes to this, I did think the set was a bit weird. This was when we got Kenneth, I think, I can't remember his name, but last year was a big focus on him, and he kept going to different planes through the portals and changing the colour. It was always one colour and another, and he kept changing through, looking for his dad, which was Elko, and then he finds Elko, and it seemed to just have been a dead end from there. And then now we're on to Jace is alive and got healed and all this other stuff, and I found the vault and he's looking for a vault for a reason. We don't know why yet. And I'm just like, cool, what was the point with it? Just seemed to be a little break and they would just filled it in with Kenneth. I'm just gonna call him Kenneth for now. I did find that a bit weird. They usually only do one Planeswalker set, but this one we got two. We got Oko and we got Chase. So overall, I do think this set was kind of, again, same as the Murderers of Markov, a very cosplay set. It didn't feel like it was, here are these characters, welcome to this new, like a cowboy like world would have been really, really cool, but it seemed to be, it was, here's a cowboy world that we're just going to fill in. Like, there was a load of characters that are like, why are you here? Like, it's weird that you're here. Or they're like there and they're thriving, and I'm like, realistically, if you were dragged out your plane and thrown somewhere else and you were lost in the middle of nowhere, you would not be thriving. My biggest problem with this set so far is it's actually two things. One, the story was mid at best, and then the second thing is there was a lot of alternative art and guest cards, and then alternative art of alternative arts. They just released so much in this set that it felt overwhelming, because there was like, here is the normal art cards, here is the main foil, then the guests, then the vault cards, and then the vault cards in alt art, and then the other cards, the borderless cards, the old art cards, and I'm like, it started to get a bit too much, and this is where I think it began. But if you haven't seen any of these cards, here are some on screen.
Oko, the ringleader. Jace reawakened. Vraska, the silencer. Terror of the Peaks. Tiny Bones, the pickpocket. Bristly Bill, spine sower. Kervek, the punisher. FBLTHP, lost on the range. Rakdos, the muscle. Riku of many paths.
And then the vault cards, or big score cards, were things in the vault I didn't really find in the story. I can't remember, it was so long ago that I don't even remember how they found the vault. The main things I found was Jace found his dad, they tried to find the vault, they didn't find the vault, Jace found the vault, but I don't know how he found the vault, so again I have to look up the story for that. And then in the vault was a bunch of like items and cool stuff, and then loot, who seems to be the new focus. But if you've never seen any of them cards, here they are on screen.
Loot, the key to everything. Grand Abolisher. Vaultborn Tyrant. Lotus Ring. Sword of Wealth and Power.
And then with the last proper set, there was this, who had 4 commander decks. These were somewhere, in my opinion, too good to really good. I did like some of these. I kind of wanted the Olivia one, but when the Olivia one got released, I do have a 3-color vampire deck. That was the main reason I wanted it, but I was like, cool. It didn't go the way I thought it would, so I didn't buy it. Not because I didn't like it, because I was originally going to use it for parts for my deck, and the two didn't kind of mesh well, but I do still think it is a good deck solely on its own. But if you've never seen any of them commander decks, here they are on screen.
Yuma, Proud Protector. Kiri, Talented Sprout. Stella Lee, Wild Card. Eris, Roar of the Storm. Gonti, Canny Acquisitor. Felix Boots. Olivia, Opulent Outlaw. Bihan, Goldwaker.
So overall, the commander decks were good. The story was meh. Way too many alternative cards. It felt like a cosplay set, but overall, it's still kind of cool. It seemed to be we're like kind of going past the midpoint of old Magic, their own worlds, to now we're turning into kind of Fortnite, where everything's just in a costume or something like that. And this seems to just be we're hitting close to the tipping point. So in my opinion, they're still good sets if I'm kind of not ignoring but kind of letting stuff slide. So overall I give this a 7.6. But now we're on to your money hungry set. This is a set that you pretty much need a large amount of money. This is the set that the packs are the most expensive, but the cards in it are more pricey, are more kind of not worthy, but people will go, I've actually heard people don't buy any of the sets through the year, they only ever buy this set. And it's
Modern Horizons 3.
This set is pretty much where all the fancy expensive commander cards or other cards are in. This was focused mainly on Planeswalkers and the Eldrazi, with a new Eldrazi card for the 3 Titans, and then flip Planeswalkers, which was really, really good, of Planeswalkers cards. If you haven't seen any of them, here they are on screen.
Emrakul, The World Anew. Kozilek, The Broken Reality. Ulamog, The Defiler. Ajani, Nakedal Pariah. Tamiyo, Inquisitive Student. Sorin of House Markov. Ral, Monsoon Mage. Grist, Voracious Larva. 6. Crick, Son of Yawgmoth. Breya, Ethereum Shaper. Kalia of the Vast.
This stuff I do like. I do like when it is a good and pricey set. However, my disliking for this is that they also then up the prices of the packs. I think, and I could be wrong here, but I think packs like €22. I don't know. So they're kind of like in between a standard pack and a collector's pack. More leaning towards the collector's pack price. I do think it's one of these things, it is really, really worth it if you pay the pack and get a really cool alternative art. But also it's a high risk, high reward, because you can buy a really expensive pack and get like €5 or less worth of cards, and then you feel even worse. So me not being a real big risk taker, I usually just kind of step back from these sets, wait probably like 3 to 6 months, and then if there was cards I really want, check the singles. A lot of these cards are good. The alternative arts were absolutely beautiful. My biggest problem with this was they also then had the old border art cards too, which it just seems to be they're just trying to put in many very different nation of arts, because again, it's really cool to get an Emrakul in these 5 arts, but the chances of getting that is less, even though there's more of them, because every other rare that's worth nothing also got 5 variation of arts. So you're less likely to get one of the pricey cool cards, in my opinion. I could be wrong with the maths there. But if you haven't seen any of them, they are on screen now.
Grief. Prismatic Ending. Hudo Kingamon Bears. The Necrobloom. Orum's Chant. White Reliquary. Imskir Iron Eater.
And then, with every set that they've done properly, there is also 4 commander decks. These commander decks went from good, like a good apostrophe, to really good.
Satya, Etherflux Genius. Kaith, Famed Mechanist. Yulalek, Fused Atrocity. Aslask, The Swelling Scourge. Omo, Queen of Vesuva. Jodi, Mogue Ancient. Dissa the Restless. Korum, The Undertaker.
Some of these I actually think were borderline broken, or you just need to add in maybe 20 to 50 quid worth of cards to make these decks absolutely broken. I loved this set. I loved making videos of this set. I talked about all the decks and then talked about them as a whole on the set. I did really enjoy the set overall. I do think it is a bit pricey, but I do think it is an amazing set. And if you were not to buy anything this year, so far out of all the videos I've done, or all the sets I've done in this video, I do think this is a good place to put your money in. I do think, as an Eldrazi lover and a Planeswalker lover, this set was really good. I would have given it an 8.2. But now we're on to
Assassin's Creed.
this set was shit. Roll credits. Yeah, no, this one, there's not really much to say. It is another kind of modern Horizon, this is another Universes Beyond set with Assassin's Creed. Now, again, throwing out my bias, Assassin's Creed was good. I enjoyed 1, 2 Brotherhood, 3 Revolutions. I kind of stopped when it started becoming a pirate game and never got back into it. But with a game or a franchise with this many games, doing a small set that they did with the war last year that failed did not seem like a good idea, in my opinion, straight off there. I do think Assassin's Creed had the potential to be really, really good. There was just huge big potholes. One, I'm not sure if this is true or not, because it's based on real life stuff or other franchises of a game, they didn't get like the full like universe that they could do whatever they want. It seemed to be they were very, very strict with what they can and can't use, and the main reason I think that was because some of the cards in here seem very off. They have so many assassins, they have so many like characters and stuff like that. There could have been so many arts, but they never used a good chunk of them. Having a super small set as well doesn't seem good. People seem to like the 250, 350 card sets because it seems to be there is 20, 30 chase cards. This set, I didn't really think there's any in my opinion. I also thought the cards didn't scale well with other Magic cards. It seemed to be in a pocket of their own. It kind of felt like more of a brand new Magic kind of set that didn't really fit in with the others. There wasn't really much like, again, you can get a Fallout card and put it in majority of your Fallout, like any deck that's not Fallout. This set felt like you have to kind of struggle or push, not with all cards, but with a good chunk of them that it felt out of place. But if you haven't seen any of them, here are some on screen.
Altair Ibn Lahad, Leonardo da Vinci, Layla Hassan, Jacob Fry, Evie Fry, Sean and Rebecca, agents, Socrates, Athenian teacher, Arno Dorian, the Capitoline Triad, Excalibur, Sword of Eden.
Now when it comes to the alt art, I don't really like what they did with some of them. They done a weird kind of, the only way I can picture is like the Power Ranger portrait. It was really close up. They were doing weird poses. The art cards were not the best in my opinion, especially because Assassin's Creed, from what I remember, was a very beautiful game. They did show a handful of like realistic characters from actual history in a really cool alt art, but there wasn't that many that I was like, oh, this is amazing. Now don't get me wrong, in this set there is, and I think with every set there's going to be at least 5 to 10 to 15 cards that are going to be somewhat good to amazing. This is an overall review that they don't pull their weight in my opinion, but if you haven't seen any of the alt art cards, here they are on screen.
Altair Ibn Lahad, Adewale, Breaker of Chains, Hatham Kenway, Ezio, Brash Novice, Ezio Auditore de Firenze, Leonardo da Vinci, Sword of Light and Shadow.
So now my overall view of this set, I think it was 1, too small, 2, too restricted, not really good. There was no hype over it. It kind of seemed they were already waiting and kind of knew it was going to fail and was already kind of pushing the next set. I think they could have done a lot better with this, but it just seemed there was too many restrictions, but they were already too far gone to cancel it, if that makes sense. So I think overall, I'm going to give this set a 3.8. But now going on to that set that seemed to push it, we're going on to
Bloomburrow.
So starting off, I do like when a world has world restrictions and it's done right. I think Kingdom Hearts does this very well, and I think Bloomburrow done this very well. If you don't know what Bloomburrow is, you are a cute little animal plane where everyone's animals. So if a human came in, it would be absolutely terrifying. But if you planeswalk there or go through one of the portals, you become an animal version of yourself. It seems to just pick on like you as a person, a personality, and I do like that. I do like if there is an animal plane and you planeswalk in, you get to become part of the environment. I do like that a lot. The story was over mid but not amazing, like a good but a kind of good okay, like keeps flicking over. It felt more of a D&D campaign. I do like that there was like these chaos demon creature things that were just big kind of creatures that eat off small animals, and they were all shadowy and stuff. The story was okay. It more again felt like a D&D thing, but I watched a video on it. I didn't actually read up on the story. If you've never seen any of the Bloomburrow cards, here they are on screen.
Helga, Skittish Seer, Maha, It's Feathers Night, Season of the Burrow, Kitsa, Otterball Elite, Valley Might Caller, Festival of Embers, Coiling Rebirth, Glarb, Calamity's Augur, GV, Scaled Scorch, Mabel, Heir to Cragflame.
And then when it comes to this, the art was absolutely beautiful. There was a lot of art cards. Majority of them are really good, majority of them are absolutely beautiful. My problem is there's too much. In this set, when I was actually looking at my old notes and looking at the cards from the set, there were some cards I completely forgot about because there was just too many alt cards when it comes to this. It seems to be base cards are kind of being forgotten about and most people are trying to chase for the pull cards, but there's still too many alt cards. But if you haven't seen any, here's some on screen.
Helga, Skittish Seer. Clement, the Worrywart. Starfall Invocation. Portent of Calamity. Manifold Mouse. Valley Might Caller. Lumberbellowooftwoods. Ral, Crackling Wit. GV, Scaled Scorch. Camellia, the Seed Miser. Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Chatterfong, Squirrel General. Nissa, Who Shakes the World. Luminous Broodmoth. And Queen. Season of Gathering. Quain, Itinerant Meddler. Garrick, Cursed Huntsman. Karn, the Great Creator.
And then with every single set that they've done so far, they released 4 commander decks, and to be truthfully honest, I think these were the 4 best decks of the year. Now in saying that, they weren't perfect, there was changes that they could have all done, but comparing it to the other ones, it did seem a good little upgrade. If you've never seen any of them, here they are on screen.
Hazel of the Root Bloom. The Odd Acorn Gang. Bellow, Bard of the Brambles. Wildseer, Scouring Maw. Zinnia, Valley's Voice. Arthur, Marigold Knight. Ms. Bumbleflower. Mr. Foxglove.
So when it comes to the overall view, the decks were amazing, the cards were amazing, the set and Plains world was amazing. I liked the world, I liked the theme, I liked what they were doing, I liked how they carried on a little bit. The story wasn't like, you find out Ral was looking after Jace and Jace was there. The decks had animal versions of Planeswalkers that were dead and gone. Overall, I actually give this a 9.2. It was close to a really old Magic set. It gave the Magic feeling, it had good cards, but again, my biggest problems was too many alternative cards, even though they're all beautiful, a majority of them were beautiful, but again, that's just my thoughts and opinions. Getting closer to Halloween, they've done a kind of Halloween themed set. When I say Halloween themed set, it's more they have horror planes and stuff, so they brought us to a new one, and we are on to
Duskmourn, House of Horror.
This set is kind of perfect to explain my problem when it comes to how Magic's going, because if you get Magic the Gathering and then put horror influences and themes, you get Innistrad. But if you get horror themes and stuff like that, spooky stuff, and then put Magic in it, you get Duskmourn. 2 completely different planes, 2 completely different feelings, but still based on roughly the same thing. And I think that this set is again bordering that line of, is it Magic or is it other? And I do still think they're doing a good job. The story, from what I remember, was okay to good, but it just seemed to be a giant escape house or room or plane. There was a fair few things that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but it's more, I'm not the biggest fan of them not killing off the Planeswalkers but killing off their sparks. So we did get to see like 3 Planeswalkers, but only 1 was an actual Planeswalker. The other ones have lost their spark. Again, as someone that collects Planeswalkers, not happy that they lost their spark. But I do still think they done a spooky house theme horror set well. I just wish it wasn't a thing. But if you've seen none of the cards, you get cards just like
Overlord of the Mistmoors. Mirror Room. Valgavoth, Terror Eater. Meathook Massacre 2. Kona, Rescue Beastie. Enduring Innocence. Leyline of Mutation. Unstoppable Slasher. Reluctant Role Model. Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. Toby, Beastie Befriender. Marina Vendrell. Zymone, All Questioning. Marvin, Murderous Mimic.
And then, of course, there is the alt arts. When it comes to the alt arts, there's alt arts on alt arts on alt arts. There is so many cards with so many different variations of arts. There's guest arts and then shiny versions of arts and like all of this ridiculous stuff. And I do think they need to cut it down on that. But if you've seen none of them, here they are on screen.
Expropriate. Noxious revival. Archon of cruelty. Damn. Split up. Entity tracker. Come back wrong. Chainsaw. Insidious fungus. Valgavoth's lair. The wandering rescuer. Nico, light of hope. Victor Valgavasnishal. Valgavoth, terror eater. Silent Thalcreeper. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Enduring tenacity. Dazzling theater. Restricted office.
And then like the other sets, there was 4 commander decks. Now when it comes to these were good to great. I think they were on par or like could fight against like equal with Bloomburrow. I do think the decks were really good, but if you've seen none of them, here they are on screen.
Zymone, Mystery Unraveler. Kian, Corrupted Memory. Aminatu, Veil Piercer. The Master of Keys. Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls. The Lord of Pain. Winter, Cynical Opportunist. Rendmaw, Creaking Nest.
So when it comes to this, the story was again quite good, mid-ish area. The set was good, too many kind of Altar cards. It felt more of a cosplay kind of Fortnite skin kind of variation of a plane. So overall, when it comes to this, I'm going to possibly give it, mainly because it just seemed to be a weaker version of Bloomburrow, like a diluted version, but not by much. I'm going to give it a 8.8. And then we're on to the final set of the year. This is
Foundations.
Now when it comes to this was actually breath of fresh air. When I seen this and they were like, we're not doing a core set, we're going to do this thing instead, I was like, oh, and again, it's bad on me, I'm so used to Wizards, in my opinion, or Hasbro forcing Wizards to mess up, that I wasn't really excited for this. I was like, core sets each year are usually mid, okay, they're great for new players, so I'm not complaining. It's good to kind of have a little break from the hype of each set, and they're still usually good even if you are a veteran player. So I was like, okay, Foundations, they're going to just get all of that and take it and focus on the online stuff. This was when it was announced. Then they showed off some cards. I was like, okay, a lot of cards I've seen, kind of like a borderline remaster set in some of them, but just instead of one, just remaster great cards. Oh, I'm not giving out. Then they showed more, and I'm like, okay, there's no real bad any like themes or gimmicks. These are going to be in standard for 5 years or some nonsense like that. So I was kind of like, okay, yeah, no, there's the setback. But then the set came out, and I had a look, made a review, and kind of it was one of the reasons I focused on a giant rant video of how Magic is changing, because this was a big breath of fresh air. This felt like Magic. This is what I perceive Magic to be. This was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved this set. Bought none of it, but it was a very good set that I would have actually put money in if I was putting money into Magic the Gathering. This is kind of what I want, especially because when they showed off all the stuff from next year, I was like, oh, this set was such a breath of fresh air. It had really cool cards, way too many alternative cards, but that's just me. But still, the alternative cards were beautiful. If you've actually never seen any of these cards, here's some on screen.
Chandra, Flameshaper. Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Omniscience. Loot, Exuberant Explorer. Authority of the Consuls. Brass's Bounty. Preposterous Proportions. Giada, Font of Hope. Galta, Primal Hunger. Arabo, The First Fong. Homunculus Horde. Day of Judgment. Zymone, Paradox Sculptor. Coma, World Eater. Consuming Aberration. Sire of Seven Deaths.
And then they done a Jumpstart, and I'm not the biggest fan of Jumpstart, so I was like, okay, Jumpstart. Looked at the Jumpstart cards and went, actually no, that's again a pretty decent Jumpstart thing. If you don't know what Jumpstart is, you open a pack, it'll have a card at the front, and there's 2 of each colour, and it'll be like blue, and then have a type of it, and then there'll be another blue, and there's red, green, white, and stuff like that. And then you get packs only in that one colour, and they're kind of like a pool, but they all had anime art, and I was like, okay, no, I'm not a biggest Jumpstart fan, but to be honest, credit where credit's due, it's pretty decent. If you've never seen any of the Jumpstart cards, here's some on screen.
Kodama of the West Tree. Ophelia, Viper Whisperer. Shurfa Sprout's Ire. Nabin, Dean of Iteration. Brigwon, Soldier of Miletus. Sai, Master Thopterist. Isoreth the Awakener. Zada, Hedron Grinder. Tabarax, Hope's Demise. Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Kala, Ajani's Pridemate. Averna, the Chaos Bloom.
And then they've done the altar cards of it, and there was too many. And then there's the realistic kind of way too messy visually cards that are in foil and non-foil that are the biggest chase of each set that they've done it in. And I was just like, okay, again, it's kind of like a mix between the two, but I still like it. And if you've never seen any of the alternative cards, here's some on screen.
Condemn. Fiend Artisan. Embercleave. Goblin Bushwhacker. Celestial Armor. Raise the Past. Omniscience. Tiny Bones, Bauble Burglar. Twin Flame Tyrant. Anthem of Champions. Herald of Eternal Dawn. Progenitus.
And overall, I was just sitting there going, this has made me realise that Magic is going in the direction I don't want. Or I don't like. And then I seen other creators say the same thing, and that's what made me make that big video. But I was like, this is actually way better than I thought originally. I really do like this. And I really wish they continued with this. If they'd done this pretty much every year with a core set or non-core set, I would be proud. I'd be happy. But yeah, overall I think because of this set, and it could just be that I'm praising it so well, again, it wasn't perfect. But I think overall it's actually, in my opinion, a perfect 9. 9 on the dot. So now my overall thoughts and opinions of the entire year with the entire set. I'll put the list here. Looking at this, it kind of makes me scared of what's going to happen in the future. Not scared, but you know what I mean. I do find that it is going to be a lot next year. I've already looked at the list of cards and I made a video of sets coming out next year. And there's no real foundation. There's no real Bloomburrow. Tarkir is the closest to it, but even then I'm a bit wary. But again, that could be the same how I was with Foundations. When it comes to the Universes Beyond sets, there's one unannounced. Final Fantasy, I'm not the biggest fan of. I know a handful of characters, like from Final Fantasy VII. I played the one with Vi in it. My username is based on a whole story with that. And I can't remember the third one just from the top of my head right now, but I remember there was like, even though I don't like Universes Beyond, I was still kind of excited for the Doctor Who one, and I was still kind of excited for the Fallout one. So there's no real set that is a Universes Beyond so far that I'm excited for. To be honest, I think after the after probably July, June-ish, I'm gonna just be making videos and not buying anything. But in saying that, depends what they bring out. They could change my mind. But right now it does seem half of Magic, half of Universes Beyond. And again, there's also gonna be Secret Layers. So this year is a good video in my opinion to talk about. I think this is where I think now we are now on the tipping point of it is just going to be no more full Magic. There's always going to be a variation of something or hinting at something, or like if they don't do it, there's going to be a secret layer close to it of something. And I don't think we're going to get Magic from now on unless people change and stuff like that. So these are my scores for the year. Again, I get the thing, put your own numbers in. I would love to see people's thoughts of them and opinions of them, and I would love to talk to people about the future of Magic and stuff like that. So if you have a different opinion of me, again, please be nice about it, but just be like, you gave Foundations a 9, I would have given it an 8.6 because of this. I'll be like, okay, no, cool. Again, I don't have like the time or resources, because I do all of this on my own, to be able to sit there and do a deep dive on every single set. So again, people's opinions are also valid too. So I just kind of want to see people's thoughts, people's opinions, what people think the future is going to hold for them. And again, if you like these type of videos, I have other Magic videos, such like this one. I have a playlist of Magic the Gathering videos I make here, and a subscribe button here, which again, I would like you to hit, and I'll see you all in the next video.